involved in this for the longest time. They say they're investigating it. And then, so we will look at various angles to this story. The various interested parties, hear from the Nigerians, from the Ghanaians as well, and the Ghanaian authorities, and bring you up to speed with the latest. How did an incident like this happen? Was it just a case of a simple accident or a lack of an adequate response unit or protocol that resulted in this? But more significantly, how do we prevent this from happening in the future in trying to safeguard the the safety of our boxers? Because as we know, boxing is a very combative sport, and sometimes things happen. But ultimately, how do we ensure a safe environment for competing for all of these boxers, aspiring boxers? We have a very interesting and thriving amateur boxing environment. If this can happen to professional boxers, what about the amateur boxing level? What kind of safety measures do we put in place to ensure that this does not happen again in the future? So we'll look at that particular story. Kevin De Bruyne released a statement today to say that he is calling it quits. He's leaving Manchester City after 9 or so years at the club. And so we will have a little debate for your own and from your own perspective. I'm very interested in knowing this. Is he the greatest midfielder the Premier League has ever seen? Kevin De Bruyne. Is he the greatest Premier League midfielder ever? How does he compare to the likes of Frank Lampard or Paul Scholes, Steven Gerrard, or Patrick Vieira? Why do you rate Kevin De Bruyne or even Yaya Toure in the list of the greatest midfielders to ever grace the Premier League? So all of that is to come on the show. Proudly sponsored by Betway and Patrosol. The show is live and interactive on social media. We're streaming live on X Spaces. So do join us there on 99.7 FM, Joy FM's handle. We're also streaming on the Joy FM YouTube page as well as on Facebook. So all that and so much more from the world of sports that's been happening over the week. We will try and look back on some of those critical moments here for you on the show. Now, if you want to get in touch with us on the show, you can send us a WhatsApp message, 055-111-1997. What I'm going to do at the end of the show is, again, open the phone line so you can contribute to some of the conversation we'll be having here. But the WhatsApp number for now is 055-111-1997. Who's the greatest Premier League midfielder in your opinion? Is that KDB, Kevin De Bruyne? We'll go through the numbers and what have you. This is Game Plan on 99.7 Joy FM. We are also live on Hits 103.9 FM. From wherever you are, you're welcome to the show. All right, welcome to the show once again. Listen, I'm going to take you through some of a chronology of some of the events that have happened as far as this story is concerned. So, on Saturday, News emerged that a Nigerian boxer had passed away. In fact, a video emerged of a Nigerian boxer collapsing and dying inside the ring in a boxing fight at the Bukom Boxing Arena. Okay. Now, he collapsed, of course, and he died. The video is a little unnerving. His name is Gabriel Oluwaseun Olanrewaju, a professional boxer from Nigeria. He collapsed in the third round of a light heavyweight fight that was taking place at the Bukom Boxing Arena. He was rushed to the Kolobu Teaching Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. And he was, of course, only halfway through what was supposed to be an 8-round boxing bout against Ghana's very own John Mbanugu. And the story is that for those that watched the fight, Oluwaseun seemed to have been dominating the fight, but he began to falter in the third round. And just under 3 minutes into the round, Oluwaseun stepped back from his opponent and fell backward onto the ropes. And if you see the video, it's clear that Mbanugu did not even hit him at the moment he was collapsing onto the ropes. He hadn't touched him. And even before he started to wobble back onto the ropes, he appeared to have already been unconscious. Now, so much has happened since then. The GBA released a statement where they said that the ringside physician and paramedics attempted to resuscitate him on the scene before he was transported to the hospital. And the pronouncement of his death was done 30 minutes after his arrival at the hospital. Now, the same GBA has been leading officials of the Nigerian High Commission here in Ghana to conduct autopsy reports or to conduct autopsy on the boxer. But as it stands now, the cause of death is not yet been revealed by the Ghana Boxing Authority. But the GBA, of course, in one of their statements, they referred to the situation as an induced coma. I'm not exactly sure what that is. Now, the GBA in their own statement also said that Oluwaseun was declared medically fit enough by the Nigeria Boxing Board control prior to the fight. So it is not as if he had any underlying issues before he took to the ring for that particular fight. But now the Mbanugu zone camp has been reacting. His agent said he's been crying ever since the incident and that he couldn't stop crying because he's very, very sad. The Ministry of Youth and Sports has also been reacting to this. Now, first we will take some of the reaction from the Minister of Youth and Sports. Well, Youth and Recreation, I beg your pardon. Kofi Adams, the Honorable Kofi Adams, who has said that they are doing everything possible to bring a logical understanding and to provide satisfactory answers to all parties involved to ensure that there are no reprisal attacks on Ghanaians currently in Nigeria, because for the lack of satisfactory answers, Nigerians might suspect that there was foul play and take matters into their own hands and start attacking other Ghanaians. This is what he said.
The death, as unfortunate as it is, was not caused by any Ghanaian. It wasn't an attack. So I don't expect Nigeria to say they would want to attack any Ghanaian. That I don't expect. The only issue at stake here is whether he was sanctioned by his authority to fight or not. And clearly, if you listen to all the narrations, including the message from his original coach, the boxer defied anybody stopping him from coming for the fight. And the coach said because he's an adult, he cannot be stopped. So he went ahead.
So that's the sports minister re-echoing aspects of the GBA statement that he was sanctioned to fight. He's also said that investigations have already commenced to bring a full satisfactory conclusion to the incident.
Well, we have only begun the process. We will need to institute a committee of a sort to go into what happened. I have assured all that nothing will be covered. We will ask all the questions that must be asked. We will speak to, and we hope that both the Nigerian side and the Ghanaian side will cooperate with the team that will be put in place to investigate this matter.
That's the Honorable Minister for Sports and Recreation, Kofi Adams, on the incident, of course. Now, the Nigerians have also been reacting to this incident. And one of it has been quite revealing. And I'm just going to play this voice for you. It is a little unnerving, I have to warn you. This is from Oluremi Abodering. He is the Secretary General of the Nigerian Boxing Board of Control. He spoke to Joy Sports and he revealed quite the alarming circumstances that transpired even before the boxer took to the ring to fight. The circumstances that preceded his decision to enter the ring for the fight. It's a 2-minute narration of some of the incidents that led to him eventually stepping onto the ring for the fight. Just indulge me and listen to this.
The truth of the matter is that the NBBFC gave approval, that's release letter, to Segun Olaraju Success to fight in Ghana on the 28th. The 28th of March, I believe, is a Friday. That means weighing and medicals must have been done on Thursday. Now, at the weighing, I was made to understand an issue cropped up where Segun was being told that he's brought from Nigeria to come and lose to the Ghanaian boxer. And Segun said, no, we never had this agreement before I left Nigeria. But if you do want me to lose, then that means you must add to my purse. And extra must be paid. Back and forth until Friday. That's the night of the fight. We are still discussing this addition or not. Segun said the amount of money, maybe $500 that they were offering is too small. He wanted more. They were saying they will not be paying more than that. Eventually, Segun said it was a fight, and he was taken from the venue of the fight Friday evening to the hotel so that he can leave for Nigeria on Saturday morning. The boxer and his coach, that's the one that came with him, were already on their way back to Nigeria. I made to understand they were even about getting to Aflao. That's what I was told before a call came. Maybe Segun made the call, or the promoter or matchmaker made the call, and they said yes, and now ready to at least increase or pay him what he was asking for as extra, and that there's a fight in Ghana Saturday night, and that fight, the bill will be put on that fight. So Segun now came back. That's where GBA ended. They shouldn't have allowed him to fight on Saturday because the reason was not for Friday. So it's a very, very bad case. And the rule of this game is that do weigh in on Thursday and you fight the following day. Not weigh in on Thursday, then fight 2 days after. So that's where GBA head, and it's a big mess that we have on our hands. The family of the boxer, they are in disarray. We are not happy because Segun was one of our good boxers and is somebody that is a breadwinner of his family. Myself, the president, and our MFA officer will be going to meet with the family this morning and we'll take issues from there.
So that is Oluremi Aboderin, the Secretary General of the Nigerian Boxing Board of Control, basically the GBA of Nigeria. That's their Secretary General. If you missed anything, let me just re-echo what he says. Basically, he's saying that they indeed gave approval for the Nigerian boxer to come to Ghana and fight. Oluwaseun. They gave him approval to come and fight. But from what he was told, when the boxer arrived in Ghana, the promoters told him that he was brought to Ghana to throw the fight. And that the boxer too did not say that he was not going to fight after they told him to throw the fight. He told them that in order for him to throw the fight, they were supposed to offer him an additional amount of money. And that additional money was supposed to be $500 for him to fix the fight. If they wanted him to fight, they should pay $500. Speaks to a lot of integrity issues on both sides. But then, the promoters were unwilling to initially provide that $500. So he decided that he was going to leave. And that he was already on his way back to Nigeria when they called him back to tell him that they were now ready to pay the $500. So he should come back and fight. So, and this was on Friday evening. So, he changed his mind after they provided the money, or said they were making the money available. And he agreed to come back and fight. So, I'm just reading verbatim what he said. He said, I was made to understand that an issue arose at the weigh-in where Segun was told that he had been brought from Nigeria to lose to the Ghanaian boxer. Then Segun said, no, we never had this agreement before I left Nigeria. But if you want me to lose, that means you must add to my boss's money. An extra amount must be paid. And he said they went back and forth until Friday, still discussing whether the additional payment would be made. Now, Segun said the additional money might be around $500, but what they were offering was too small. He wanted more, but the organizers insisted they would not pay beyond that amount. Eventually, Segun decided he would not fight and was taken from the fight venue on Friday evening to the hotel so he could leave for Nigeria on Saturday morning. But then the boxer and his coach were already on their way back to Nigeria when they received a call informing them that the organizers were now willing to pay the extra amount he had requested. You heard in the audio there, he said he was told that they were almost at Aflao. And then he goes on to say that they were also told that there was another fight scheduled in Ghana on Saturday night and that their fight will be added to that particular fight. So Segun and his trainer returned, and that is where he says the GBA aired. They should not have allowed the fight to happen on Saturday because the rules state that a boxer must weigh in on Thursday and fight the following day, not 2 days later. This is what he said. Trust Sports Emporium have also been reacting to this issue. They released a statement to say that they have certain protocols that must be in place for the fight to happen. And that one of it is to have a standby ambulance and emergency medical services. And that they provided all those services. So this is the situation. Nonetheless, the boxer is gone. And now so many other issues are being raised, integrity issues, and a much deeper issue of what really, and these are all allegations, obviously. But the GBA has not specifically responded to these particular allegations of match fixing or fight fixing that the Nigerians are leveling against their Ghanaian counterparts. So in the midst of a tragedy, other cobwebs are now being opened. So we'll try and get answers. We're going over the phone line to Nathaniel Alto, our boxing correspondent, who has massively followed this issue since it occurred on Saturday. Nat, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, so Nat, you've heard the whole background there. Let's start from the latest. Where are we with this? The last time I saw a statement from GBA, they said that they were at the hospital with Nigerian authorities to conduct the autopsy. Where are we with the whole situation?
What we will be waiting for very, very keenly will be the autopsy report, which will then give us the specific cause of death. I mean, in the absence of that, like you said very clearly, a death has occurred. Whether or not it was, whether or not it started from the arena, it happened in the arena. Long and short of the story is that there was a chain of events that led to the death, and the boxing bout was one key part of it. Now, you made mention of certain cracks, and what I'll conclude, or I'll sum all of it up to be, is that the Ghana Boxing Authority is headed for a major implosion. Implosion in the sense that there is a certain rot when it comes to dealings with the bouts that we present to the public and credible competitions. Now, the rules of the nationally and domestically are very clear on that kind of practice. And so that alone just tells you that we're headed for some very, very rough times at Ghana boxing. Now, I'm not so surprised that we're half-baked communication from the Ghana Boxing Authority, because I was expecting that they will put as many of their officers on standby with one line of communication which is been agreed on, so that they can speak to this issue and let people have that confidence that they are up to the task. But what have we seen? Even on the day when the problem happened, or immediately after the problem happened, it took them such a long time to put something out there so that people would have first-hand information about what happened. Because you see, by law, the Ghana Boxing Authority is supposed to be the sanctioning body for that competition. And so whatever happened at that arena at that time was supposed to be under the supervision of the Ghana Boxing Authority. Now let's also look at the that particular comment, or that particular statement that was made by Remy Aboderin, who is not a stranger to Ghana. He's been involved in many of our West Africa Boxing Union sanctioned bouts. He's actually the president of the West African Boxing Union. Well, he stated it like in plain language, just like that. It was just running that the boxer, had agreed to lose a fight. That is where the problem begins from. It should just tell you that obviously there is a system which is already in place and has given people who want to cut corners the opportunity to break the rules in a very blatant manner. The the Ghana Boxing Authority has a lot of work to do regarding bringing all of us up to speed with all of these allegations that have been made. They have to come out to tell us how rigid their supervision regime is. And they also have to tell us, because, in the last 2 or 3 years, I'm very sure that you've been observing what's been happening on the domestic scene, where boxers come in and after 2 punches they fall. And you ask yourself, what is going on here? So it is my expectation of the Ghana Boxing Authority, as a credible sanctioning body that they're supposed to be, or a credible supervisory body that they're supposed to be, to get to the bottom of some of these issues. But what do we see happen? We're not getting a good flow of information. So it leaves everybody speculating, and it leaves everybody asking more questions. My expectation of the Ghana Boxing Authority is to use their own internal administrative mechanisms to institute an investigation. Because in terms of structure, they are supposed to have persons there who have the competence to conduct investigations into what has happened. They didn't have to wait for the minister to do that. We will be patiently waiting for the minister regarding who he would task with the responsibility of conducting this investigation, so that we can get to the bottom of this matter. But my toddler at home would know and would expect that once this thing is said to you that somebody tried to fix a bout, or somebody was being encouraged to lose a bout, and the person was even asking for more money, it means that both parties are all in this and are all part of the rot. And so both parties must be questioned. And so it is my expectation of the Secretary General of the Nigerian Boxing Board of Control as well to start looking within, because the question we're asking ourselves here is, do we have a system where some boxers from Nigeria who come and take part in competitions here go into underhand agreements with their opponents here to do fights of convenience so they take more money? Is that the case? So this occurrence, as unfortunate as it is, has opened up so many avenues for probing and for asking questions. And we cannot rest on our oars on this one. We cannot go to bed on this one. We must get to the bottom of the matter. Obviously, I'm not a technical hand in medicine, so I wouldn't know when would expect the autopsy results. But like I said, irrespective of the results of the autopsy, the unfortunate turn of events and the unfortunate lead up to events just ask us that we have to get down to the bottom of it. There is a lot of work to be done, and there could be something that people within the system or within the boxing ecosystem here in Ghana and in Nigeria may be hiding, and we must fish it out. If people have to be punished, they will be punished. And I must say as well that I'm very happy and content with the posture of the minister. And he has said to me personally that he wants to get to the bottom of this matter, and whoever is found to have broken any rule of any sort would be severely punished.
Okay.
Do remember as well.
Yes.
This death, before you come in, very briefly, do remember as well, Fence, that this is a matter of diplomacy. This matter also borders on the relationship between Ghana and Nigeria. And I guess that's also the reason why the minister addressed the issue of a possible attacks on Ghanaians, just because people do not have adequate information around the circumstances surrounding the death of the Nigerian boxer.
Very well. So I was going to ask you one last question before I let you go. You've covered boxing bouts for a long time. You've seen the video and you've spoken to people. Where are some of the lapses that you have uncovered to have happened to lead to this? Was this preventable? Where did people get it wrong from the promoter's point of view or organizer's point of view? From where you stand, were there some breaches of protocol that you think were not properly done, or what's your understanding of how certain lapses might have led to this? Or it was just a situation where it was just unfortunate, or do you think it was preventable?
Like I said, we'd have to wait for the autopsy so that we can start making comments about the death and what exactly caused it. If you'd remember, when I started my submission, I made mention of the lead up to the death, or the set of events that led to the death. And it so happens that that particular bout was a major part of the events that led to the death. Now, when it comes, then we can make those kinds of conclusions. However, out of this unfortunate incident, we have come to the realization that the Ghana Boxing Authority erred greatly and did not follow procedure in having that bout which led to the incident go on. Because by standard procedure, the boxer is supposed to have a valid license which has been duly sanctioned or duly accredited by his sanctioning body from home, which in this case is the Nigerian Boxing Board of Control. Away from that as well, before the Nigerian Boxing Board of Control clears the boxer to come and fight here, the boxer is supposed to have a valid medical certificate, which goes to say that he has a clean bill of health and is in good shape to go into that kind of competition. Do remember that boxing is a full contact sport, and one needs full concentration, must be of sound mind, and must be of full physical ability to engage in the sport. And that's the reason why medical professionals are supposed to be a part of all of this, and they have the technical acumen to determine whether a boxer has it or not. The boxer was cleared by what we've been told by the General Secretary of their board to fight on Friday and not Saturday. And so there is misinformation on the part of the Ghana Boxing Authority regarding that particular contest which the boxer took part in. So that is one thing that the Ghana Boxing Authority must come to answer to us.
Very well.
Because, Fent, you can imagine, let me quickly wrap up. I know we have quite a bit on the plate today. You can imagine that we advertised that we want to have the recent dialogue, that we said we were going to have it on a Friday, and had run all these promos from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Joy, Prime, and blah, 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 blah. And then the day comes, the Thursday comes, there's no show, and then the next thing they see is that this event that we've advertised to happen on Thursday evening happens on Adum FM at another time. You understand me? So technically there is a lot wrong, and we must, like I said, get to the bottom of it and get people punished. The whip must be cracked, and irrespective of who it is who did not do the job, everybody who is found to have broken the rules must be punished, and punished severely, so that it sends the right optics to everybody that we're not here to joke. Remember that the president has said that we need a cleanup, a thorough cleanup in the country. We need a thorough cleanup in the sports sector. He mentioned specifically the Ghana FA. But for all we know, and for what has happened, the recent turn of events, it's probably not only the Ghana FA that the minister has to look at. He has to look at boxing, and we have to clean it up, and clean it up properly.
Very well. Nathaniel Atto is our in-house boxing expert. Thank you very much for that perspective that you've brought to this conversation. This is Joy 99.7 FM. The show is Game Plan. We are discussing the death of a Nigerian boxer, which happened last week, Saturday. He collapsed and died in a boxing fight with a Ghanaian boxer in the third round of an 8-round fight. And the incidents that have followed have been quite revealing. Now, the Ghana Boxing Authority has not been forthcoming a lot with their explanations and what have you, in terms of even where we are with regard to the allegations that have happened from the Nigerian camp as well. But we are fortunate now to to be joined on the phone line by Mr. Amin Lamte. He is an experienced boxing expert, broadcaster. He's also been speaking for the Boxing Federation, and he has joined us on the line. Mr. Amin Lamte, thank you so very much. Good afternoon, and thanks for your time. Okay, is he there? No, he's not. Okay, Amin Lamte is not on the line. But Sicho is also joining us, but he's joining us via Zoom. Sicho, how are you doing?
Shoot. During holidays, the fermented food that we.
Okay, Sicho, we cannot hear you. I don't know what's going on.
But I said, can you hear me?
But listen, let's go to Daniel Cranting and Sue. Yeah, Daniel Cranting and Achutamaklo. They are on here with us in studio.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, loud and clear. Thank you very much. How are you doing?
Brilliant. Natinho. I'm fine. Let's say hi to Natinho and to the rest of the guys. Yeah.
Yes, Sicho, you've been following. Achu. Let me, Sicho. Thanks for joining us. I'll come to you. But actually, you follow this issue closely as well. I asked Nat that last question. He says we have to wait to see to see and to wait for the autopsy to come out before we can draw conclusions on where people went wrong. But you've seen the video. Were there some things that were evident from the video, from maybe response point of view? And the GBA has released quite a number of statements with regard to this matter, but they've not released any statement to address specifically the allegations from the Nigerian counterparts about the breach of protocol and the bout fixing allegations and what have you. I don't understand that particular silence.
And he was visibly shaking. You could tell that right from that moment he could not defend himself. And I thought the referee would have erred on the side of caution to stop the bout. Right? Because after that, he didn't see himself. He didn't recover from that. Because even his defenses were very funny. And I thought that if the right hook that shook him, that made him lose consciousness for a split second, was not enough to prompt the referee, his movement in the ring in the few seconds that followed should have confirmed to the referee that the young man was not in the right frame of mind to continue, or physically was not in the right condition to continue with the bout. So I thought the referee should have stopped the bout right then. However, excuse me, there are a few things that I have not been excited about. The hurried nature of the GBA statement on Sunday night, it gave me the impression that they were out to tie loose ends. So I think in paragraph 9, when they talk about the boxer being medically cleared, first of all, when it comes to the Ghana Boxing Authority and even the Amateur Boxing Federation, I don't trust them on these matters.
How so?
And it goes, you'd have to go several decades back. There are a litany of incidents that have happened that will take away the integrity of these organizations in matters like this. 13 years ago, at the Olympics, you remember the strange circumstance under which our boxing contingent in London had to be reduced to 3?
Yeah.
And we went with 9 athletes. 4 of them were boxers, but even before we stepped into our ring for our first bouts, Maxwell Amponsa was disqualified on the same medical grounds. The Ghana Olympic Committee and the Amateur Boxing Federation at the time had told us that Amponsa was fit enough to fight.
All right.
But
so
he
actually,
was.
you hold on for me. Let's go over to the phone line now and speak to Mr. Amin Lamte. He speaks for the Ghana Boxing Authority. Mr. Lamte, Juma Mubarak to you. Thank you so much for making time to speak to us. We are on the death of the Nigerian boxer, and we've got quite a few questions for you, clarifications to offer to the Ghanaian audience about the incident so far. The last time I saw a statement from the GBA was that they were conducting, or they were helping authorities do an autopsy on the fighter to ascertain what exactly happened, together with the Nigerian High Commissioner and his entourage. What's the latest you can tell us about this incident, and where are we with the investigations and what have you?
First of all,
having me. You wish me Juma Mubarak. Let me also wish you Eid Mubarak and then Juma Mubarak. Well, thanks so much once again, and good afternoon to your listeners and viewers and those in the studio. In your preamble, you've made a point that I hope that you would raise the questions for me to respond to them. In PR, when you have an issue, we have about 3 critical components that you need to consider. Number 1 is crisis analysis. And that is why when the issue happened on Saturday night, the GBA did not react to what the public is saying or what people are saying about the whole thing. Because I was the ring announcer, I was right there. Almost all the board members were there. We witnessed what happened before he was transported to the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. So if you look at the time that our press release came out, we came out with authentic information. So people have taken it upon themselves to use the social media to put out certain negative information that they were not at the Bokum Boxing Arena. I can't remember somebody who says that the boxer collapsed in the ring and died at the Bokum Boxing Arena. This is erroneous. It is not true. The boxer actually had a problem in the ring, as we all saw. He started the fight round 1, round 2. He was leading, even according to the scorecard. Round 3, he was leading when the incident happened. There was no punch. He just went in what we call infighting. It was just a flimsy punches that they traded. So he retreated back a bit, 2 steps back, and then within few seconds, he retreated back and went to lay on the ropes. So the referee thought that is a normal fall. So he went ahead with the mandatory counting. So when he went 1, 2, he realized, he looked at the eyeballs, which is one of the responsibilities of the ring official, the referee. So he called the ring physician, who came closer, and then he was supported by the National Ambulance Service paramedics. These are not just ordinary individuals. These are paramedics led by Mr. Alote. They came and tried as much as they can to resuscitate him. They resuscitated him partially, not fully. I was there close to the ring, and then the young gentleman was transported to the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. It was just about 2-minute drive. Took to the emergency hall. They took good care of him. It was after he was placed on oxygen that just about 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, he passed away. This is what happened. So the GBA president who was there, he worked things out. Probably the next morning, the body was taken to the mortuary. And then he moved to the police station for official reports. He did that, and then the subsequent day, we were expecting that the autopsy would take place. We were told that unless we have a police report. We went for the police report, it was rejected. They said until we go to the High Court for a judge to authenticate and sign before we bring it back for the autopsy to take place. We did that yesterday. So when we submitted all this thing that I'm telling you, is the ambassador or the high commissioner is in presence. So yesterday, we went there with the report from the court, and then the autopsy started. The postmortem was done, but they told us that they will not submit the official report to us until we go back to the court for the judge to sign again before the official report will be submitted to us. So this is where we are. So as we are waiting for the court to sign for the doctor to release the official report of the postmortem, we are also started a process at the Ministry of Interior, where we need clearance, we need certain information that will help us. When the body is being transported to Nigeria, we aren't going to have any problem on our way. So far, this is where we are.
Okay, very well narrated. There are other issues that I have arisen since then. One of it, obviously, being the timing of the fight. Now, there was an interview that we did with Olurami Aboderin. I'm sure you know him very well, the Secretary General of the Nigerian Boxing Board of Control. You've heard some of his allegations. One of it, obviously, the issues about the bout fixing and what have you. But I want to ask about what you know about the timing of the fight. For example, there are claims that the fight was moved from Friday to Saturday night. and that violates the protocol that is required, because a boxer is supposed to weigh in on Thursday if they are fighting on Saturday. What do you know about this particular arrangement of the fight time changing? Even Nathaniel Atto, I don't know if you managed to hear him, he also pointed to that particular arrangement. What happened there exactly with regard to the timing of the fight, and did it violate any regulations as being put out there?
It's my very good friend, my very, very good friend. But for me, I think journalistically, it's very interesting that you are telling me that you've interviewed him ever since this thing happened. It is today that you are interviewing me. So we put out our press release, and based on our press release, he reacted, said that there was some element of misplaced or protocol measures that we took, which for me is very erroneous, because I respect him as a boxing person who understands boxing. This is a Nigerian boxer. Professionally, the GBA will never sanction or approve any fight if the individual boxer or his federation fail to go through the process that we all know. The process are vivid. Everybody knows about it. Number one, a boxer cannot just come to the GBA, or any promoter will just go for a boxer without being scrutinized. Number one, before he comes, the Nigeria Boxing Board of Control would have to give us a release. They have to give us a release. The release will now justify that it's a credible and durable boxer. They have confirmed that. Number two, we need his medical history or medical report. And then number three, we must be able to know that this guy is a licensed boxer. There are some boxers that, yes, you would know them as professional boxers, but they have chickened out, or they've gone into hibernation. They are no more active. So if you accept such boxers, they may end up giving you a problem. So Ghana Boxing Authority, we have to look at the boxer, look at his record. That is where we got to know that this is a former national Nigerian champion, light heavyweight division. He was a former West African champion and former African champion. 23 fights, only 8 defeats, 13 wins, 2 draws, 12 of the wins came by way of knockout. This is a credible opponent. Yes, the fight was organized by Osibo and Ace Promotions. That was at the Bukum Park on Friday. So they went on for the weigh-in on Thursday. Okay, under the supervision of Ghana Boxing Authority. It means that we have information about the boxer. He has been cleared. He went on the scale. He went through the scale. Immediately, the doctors would have to check him, as we all know. He has been checked with his opponent. But the fight couldn't come on due to 1 or 2 reasons that the GBA and IMAC Boxing Promotions, who is in charge of the league, have no idea. It is normal, because there are situations where, even in Ghana.
Yes, Mr. Lamte, I understand you perfectly. Your narration of what happened in the medical history, that you checked him creditably. Nat has a question. Nat, I'll come to you briefly, but I wanted to follow up on something you said, that the fight was changed, the fight time was changed for reasons that you don't know. But the allegation from the Nigerian, Mr. Aboderin, is that the fight was changed to a different day because originally the boxer was told he needed to fight a fight of convenience, and he refused and was heading home before.
Tahiru,
yes.
Tahiru, how could you believe some of these narratives? This is an individual that when the incident happened, the GBA president spoke to him on phone. He himself admitted that he was even watching the fight. He saw what happened. We had a very, very beautiful conversation with him. We empathize with him. All of us are within the same, fraternity. So we agree that something did happen. And I'm saying that this narrative that they are giving, okay, I hope they will come to justify the point they are making. And I'm saying that the GBA did not invite the boxer to come and fight in Ghana. He came down through a promoter. Everything was done for the fight on Friday. The fight couldn't come up. Let me give you one example, Tahiru.
Yes, Mr. Lante, don't you have a duty to investigate?
Let me develop the point.
Yes.
Let me develop the point to underpin what you've asked me. I beg you.
Okay, sure.
Now, 3 weeks ago, there was a fight between Jatabi Wasiru Mohammed and a Nigerian boxer on the 6th of March, because of the slight vandalism and violence that we had at the Bukum Boxing Arena, that fight couldn't come up. So the manager and the manager of the Ghanaian boxer and Nigerian boxer now decided that, look, you know what, we can reschedule it to on the next Saturday, that is on the boxing league. And that boxer, the Nigerian boxer, stayed in Ghana for one solid week. He's a Muslim. He fasted throughout the period, and then the fight came up. He fought against Jatabi the subsequent Saturday. And this is not the first time. Even Ghanaian boxers travel to other countries. Fight could be cancelled the very day of the bout. It could be rescheduled the next day or 2 days after. So, my brother, the General Secretary of the Nigeria Boxing Board of Control, I'm surprised where it's coming from. How could the GBA intentionally sanction a fight that it shouldn't have sanctioned? It is not true.
Okay, so the point I was, you've stated this about the possible reasons that could occur for why a fight would be postponed. And you mentioned the example of the Bashiru fight. It was fixed for the next Saturday or the next week because there were issues of violence. This is a wild allegation about that. He specifically says that the reason the fight couldn't come on is because there were conversations about fighting a fight of convenience, and then the boxer refused initially because they couldn't pay a certain amount, and then later, once they agreed they could pay that money, the boxer came back. I'm saying that it's not that I believe what he's saying, but I'm putting the allegations to you, and I'm saying that as GBA, is it not your duty? I'm sure you've seen these allegations. Is it not your duty to have investigated and to have known by now why that fight was pushed?
Tahiru, we've lost a boxer. We are in the process of going through the postmortem to know what happened. We are planning on how we can transport him back to his country. We are planning how the guy will be given a befitting burial. We are also looking at how to manage the situation. We are also looking forward to see how best we can resolve it. That is in a way of maybe a learning process, a learning curve. So if individuals have decided to use another platform to put out negative stories that are not justifiable, they are not verifiable. As an expert in PR, in communication, we have what we call fear of silence. The only way to do is that we may deal with them at the right time. But for now, we are focusing on how we could get the information on how the guy died, because the cause of death is more important. His Excellency, the Nigerian High Commission to Ghana, is more interested in the result, because we were thinking that they would transport him to Nigeria for the autopsy. He was the one who called the GBA and said, look, you know what, we want the autopsy to be done here. So we are in the process. Yes. So if somebody called and said that there was going to be a match of convenience, it was a statement.
Yes, I get you. I want to bring that in here because I know that the cause of death at the moment is most important. Not hold on for me. But we also know that the set of circumstances that led to the fight itself could give us an indication of what was preventable and what wasn't. That's the only reason we are asking all these questions. Nat, please, you can come in now.
Alright, Fent, we're talking about death here. This is not an injury. This is not a career-threatening injury. This is death here. And the Nigerian boxer we're talking about, Success Oluwaseun, has a family. Put yourself in the shoes of these family members who at this time are very distraught and are very broken because of this incident that has happened. And we want to say that we should just hold on and wait and give him a befitting burial. Well, Fent, I have lost a relative before. I have lost relatives before. And at that time when I lost each relative, I was interested in what led to their death. In this case, the medical report or the autopsy report will provide that for us. But when the man whose body or the man's whose organization authorized his travel from Nigeria to Ghana to come and take part in the competition is making this kind of allegation, it is important that we get down to the matter. And it is also in the interest of the Ghana Boxing Authority to use its internal mechanisms to institute an investigation into what exactly the case is. Because this is an allegation that has been made. and this borders on credibility. Let me ask another question. On the night of the said fight, the rules of competition by which we all run by as a body, as a sanctioning body at the Ghana Boxing Authority, state, among other things, that there should be an ambulance which is parked in a position which can make it easy for it to move out. That was done. Now, it also states that we should have 2 qualified medical doctors, not paramedics, but 2 qualified medical doctors. One of them at ringside and the other a call away or within a call's distance. Did we have a qualified medical doctor at ringside? And did we have a medical doctor qualified on call? Let us ask ourselves all those questions and let us provide the answers and let us provide the identity of which qualified medical doctor was present at ringside on the night. Now, let me make something clear here, Fent. We are all stakeholders in boxing. I am a long-time licensee of the Ghana Boxing Authority. I have served on committees of the Ghana Boxing Authority, and this sport, what is thriving, helps all of us. As a journalist, when the boxing sport is thriving, it makes my job thrive. As a boxing ring announcer as well, when the sport is thriving, it makes my job thrive. And for the greater good of the Ghanaian people, the people who are the receiving end of it also have, variety in terms of entertainment, and it brings a sub-economy which helps all of us. So it is important that we all guard and guide and make sure that when something is wrong, we talk about it and make sure that we correct it.
Very well.
Let us not sit back and let us not sit back.
Yes, very well.
Let us not sit back.
All right, Sicho, please mute for me. You're on the phone, huh?
Tahiru.
Yes.
Yes.
Let me
like I said,
Nat, hold on for me. I think.
Let me wrap up.
Yes, Nat. No,
let me wrap up.
Let me wrap up.
Let me wrap up.
Nat, I think you made your point excellently. Let Amin Lamte come in now. Let Amin Lamte come in now.
Let me, Tahiru.
Yes.
Tahiru.
Yes.
Have you listened to Nat?
Clearly.
I told you. In leadership, in this thing that we find ourselves in, we have 3 critical components that is underpinned by PIA. Number 1, crisis analysis. Tahiru, if you listen to yourself when you were giving the preamble of this program, the personalities who are in the studio, all we've started doing since last Sunday was analyzing, trying to analyze the situation, what is happening, who said what didn't we do right. Then we get to the situation of crisis management. You and I, in our submission, it is not about what we say, it's how we say it. We are managing the situation. Now, look at his angle of, analysis. The boxer who is coming down from Nigeria, as a boxer, he should have a personal doctor that will check him to clarify him before he's given license to come to Ghana. Even coming to Ghana, we all know that boxers have their personal dietitians, they have their personal doctors who check them before the official checkup by the Ghana Boxing Authority when there is a fight. Now, the final one is that crisis resolution. We've not gotten to the crisis resolution. So if you are saying that the DBS will set up a committee, do you know that we've set up a committee or not? You don't know. Have you heard the minister says that he's going to set up a committee to make sure that we're going to find out what really happened? Don't you know that the autopsy result is key to the investigation that we're going to conduct? So you are telling me that you are a licensee of GBA or whatever. Fine. Fair deal. You were talking about doctors at the ring. We have them. Paramedics that are there, they've been there for years. We have ambulance. Everything was there. So are you saying that if you don't have doctors there,
what is the name of
the way the young man fell on the way he fell down on the canvas?
Yes, Mr. Lamptey. Yes, Mr. Lamptey.
We need to take our time. We should not allow our emotions. I'm online because as I'm speaking to you now, we are still working out to get the results. I just finished with about 3 media outlets.
Fair enough.
The way Nat is analyzing the issue, he needs to take a second look at his analysis.
Okay, you
As
don't.
a communicator, when we are in a crisis situation, we analyze, we manage, and see how best we can move forward as part of the resolution.
I agree, Mr. Lamte. There's one question. Yes, Mr. Lamte. There's one question I want answered before I let you and Nat go. Nat asked a very serious question. He says that there was no doctor ringside and there was no other doctor.
Who told him so?
When in your initial submission, you said there were paramedics. You also didn't mention a doctor. Was there a doctor? Who was that doctor?
Tahiru.
Yes.
I told you we have ringside physicians. That is the name given to them. We don't call them ringside doctors.
So you had a ringside physician.
We have a ringside physician.
Was he the one who attended to the boxer?
Listen to me. The referee would have to call the ringside physician. He would have to come first. When it's beyond him, that is where he invites the ambulance service officials.
And we just want the names of the two persons who, by the standard rules of competition,
yes,
are supposed to be there every other night when we organize boxing. So can you kindly, yes, nobody's using emotions. Can we kindly
come out?
Okay, listen,
this platform, Nat cannot use his platform to scrutinize the GBA and be asking some of these. Yes, these questions are very relevant.
They're very necessary.
But at the stage that we are, these questions are irrelevant to me.
Okay, Mr. Lamte, thank you. Thank you.
The minister who has also promised to set up a committee.
No problem.
The committee result will tell us that ABCD happened.
Okay,
that
no
is
problem.
We got to the resolution.
Mr. Lamte, thank you very much. We appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate your time truly. Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, Fence, just before you go, Fence, very quickly, we must place certain things on record. My work is out there for all to see, and everyone who follows us and follows my work knows that I never ever use my platform or what is available to me for agenda or to prosecute anyone. Where we have a situation at hand and we're asking the simple questions that the public who listen to us on a daily basis will ask.
Yes.
It's interesting that we're asking a very simple question about who was the person. Identify which ringside physician was available and on call. We still do not have that very simple answer.
It's a fair question to ask, Nat. Thank you very much. I thank you. Thank you so much as well. I think we've been on this matter long enough. Nathaniel Atto is our in-house boxing expert. Got a little heated there with Mr. Amin Lamte to speaks for the government.
Ringside available on the night. There is a difference. Hold on. There is a difference between a ringside physician and a paramedic.
Yeah,
there is a difference between an EMT. There is a difference between an EMT, professional and a medical doctor. And like I said, once again, our toddlers at home even know this. This is basic knowledge.
Yes,
let us be very clear on this.
Yes.
Finally, I know that we've spent quite a bit of time on this.
We have.
Well, let us once again. I need to be very clear on this particular matter. We are all interested in making it look good, and trust me, if some of us had decided to use what we had available in terms of platform to scrutinize the work, a lot would have happened.
Yeah.
I'll leave it here for now.
Thank you.
But what is important is that we need to ask the questions, and the questions must be answered without any emotions whatsoever.
I agree with you 100%. Thank you, Nathaniel Atto, Joy Sports editor, our in-house boxing expert, with some great perspective on this incident. Ms. Amin Lamte as well, we appreciate your time for coming to answer some of our questions, even if some of the answers are not deemed satisfactory to us. Actually, you were on the floor. Please just wrap up for me. I really don't want us to spend a lot more time on this, but you have a lot of other questions as well.
I was hoping that Amin Lamte would help the conversation, but he hasn't. Then, unfortunately, you see, all of this, the lessons in crisis management and all of that, it does not excuse the GBA from its duty to protect its integrity. It does not excuse the GBA from giving closure in the aspects where they can. Yes, the autopsy report and all of that is important, but people need to know that the processes that led to the bout itself happening are consistent with what the protocols prescribe.
Those are wild allegations, and the allegations speak to a violation of the protocol, like you're saying.
Because the families need closure. The families need closure. There are people who do not trust the Ghana Boxing Authority. There are people like myself who do not trust Amateur Boxing Federation. And I was giving you an example that in the past, we've always had incidents where we have acted in a manner that has not been consistent with the international standards. There is a 24-hour that is unaccounted for. There's a 24-hour window between the original scheduled dates of Friday to Saturday that is unaccounted for. I don't think that you need to wait for the autopsy reports before, because this sits directly with the promoter. All it takes for Amin Lamte and the GBA to do, get in touch with the promoter and ask them, why did this bout not happen? And Amin Lamte
it's a bit surprising that he says that's
pretty
not
basic.
No, because they should have those answers.
So when you
now
want to throw about lessons in crisis management and all of that, what we need to know is that this is what happened, because it also would help us to authenticate or squash whatever allegations Mr. Bodorin is making.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Because he is alleging that the guy went as far as Aflao and then later there was a compromise.
Is this true or not?
It's a simple, because it is, and they name names. They mentioned that this came from the promoter. First of all, just establish to us. So when you asked him and he was not even able to establish why this happened, for me, I found that to be problematic. Whatever you think the protocols are elsewhere, whatever you think the protocols you have been working with, now there is a specific allegation that is calling all of that into question. Also, when you say that in the paragraph 9 or 10 of the statement that they released, they said the young man was medically fit for the original scheduled date of Friday or of Saturday. And this thing is important.
Because a lot can change.
This thing is important because remember Shakur Samit?
Yes.
At the last Olympics, he was disqualified because he had taken in a banned substance. Now, at the time, the GOC and the Amateur Boxing Federation's
sorry.
Their excuse to us was that the boxer they prepared, the boxer who left Kotoka, was in good standing. He had passed every anti-doping test that they had run. But within 24 hours of the bout, something changed and something they could not account for. I was telling you earlier the story of 2012 London Olympics. Maxwell Amponsa, he was one of 4 boxers we took to London for the games. Yeah. Somehow, the mandatory medical tests that are run by these international bodies, he did not pass it. We knew about his issues with Kolebu, the surgery and all of that. But the GOC, Amateur Boxing Federation, told us that he was fit enough to go and fight. When he went there, they said this guy, he is a walking accident. So they disqualified him. So there has been 2 high-profile incidents in the last 13 years. There's been others in between, but for the sake of time, we'll skip that. But there's been 2 high-profile incidents where our testing protocols have not been good enough, where we have failed to keep tabs on the activities of even boxers that we, as a state, have taken outside to go and fight, because we could not account for 24 hours between when they were supposed to fight and when the test was taken.
So when you
tell me that he was declared medically fit, but you are failing to explain the 24-hour vacuum or disparity between the original, because a lot could have happened. The young man could have taken in some substance that no one would have known.
I really don't understand why Lamte doesn't have an answer for that.
I know
by now.
The reason they do not have an answer is one of 2 things. Either they have not done the job, and so he cannot speak to information he does not have, or they have done the job but are unable to share it because of the nature of the information. Okay. Otherwise, you simply need to establish to us, 1, the identity of the person from the, because when Abodorin says promoter, it could have been the general manager of the promotion firm who organized the bout. It could have been a liaison. It could have even been an agent or a third party who may not have acted with the say-so or
On top
a
of
power of attorney.
On top of that, about the ring, he says he knows him very well.
Yeah.
Could have picked the phone, called him, said,
Because
share the number of the guy who called you or sent you that
for me,
message or
that is the
whatever.
part that I don't like, because when you say that, oh, he's a very good friend, and I don't like the fact that he's throwing around allegations that are not justified. Yeah, you have your own opinion, but this is a matter of black and white.
Yeah. We need answers.
There's a very
What is
simple
your side of the story?
That's it.
Right. What's your side of the
Look, I
your
don't
side
think
of the
that
story cannot be I don't know or it's not important.
I don't think that we need to wait for the autopsy processes to be concluded before, for example, you're able to tell us that whether or not why that bout was postponed and whether or not there was an offer for the bout to be thrown. Yeah. These are very simple matters.
Sedu Adamu says, to unravel all these rot at the GBA and other boxing related rots, the Ministerial Investigating Committee must interview every individual boxer who has fought in Ghana in the last 5 years. The scope must include both local and foreign boxers and their managers. That's a fair point. It's a wild allegation, to be honest. This one says, Fentio and team, good afternoon. My simple question is, what are the standard operating procedure of the Boxing Federation, and did Ghana follow it to the latter before the bout? Which countries have be this? The way we do things but with impunity. Yeah, Chris sent us that message. This message also says, God will use Muhammad to bring peace between hold on Russia and Ukraine. Then the only continent left to ensure peace is the African continent. It indicated. Alright, hold on. That's a very long message. I'm not sure if it's okay. I've got more messages here. And Alto, much respect for you. This is Ola from Spintex as well. Sicho, welcome back to the. Sorry, we kept you on there for a bit without having.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the show. I'm enjoying the show.
Cranting is here too. Cranting, how are you? You've been listening very quietly.
Yeah,
huh?
man.
Quite a lot. Guys, I want us to Sicho, do you have any thoughts on that? Because I want us to move to the De Bruyne conversation.
Yeah, I just want to say that if what Amin Lamte is saying is the position and the posture of the GBA, then it's something that smells very fishy. He's not defended them well at all. When he says it's a matter they are managing, you can manage these things. It's either the allegations against you are true or are false. First, there are two things. There's an allegation of fixing a bout, right? And there are allegations about breaching procedures that otherwise every serious boxing association or federation would go through. It's either you did them or you didn't. So when you tell us you're managing a situation, the man hasn't been buried, all of that. It's all about tactics to draw the emotions of people here. But we are looking at two things that are allegations from the Nigerian counterparts, communications person, saying that you were fixing the bout. If you fix it, have you investigated it? Do you have reports about them to deny those claims? If you have, Ghanaians should be happy to know. If you don't have, don't tell us you're managing the situation. Find out. There are also allegations about the fact that the bout didn't happen at the scheduled day. However, it was postponed, and the processes and the protocol that had to be taken to for that bout to happen were neglected. Are these allegations true or false? No emotions or whatsoever. Just answer these questions, and then Ghanaians can have the confidence that the right things were done. If you go about the way he's gone about that today, it clearly smells that something is fishy, and the GBA perhaps, maybe then, Ghanaians should be listening to what the Nigerians said, and maybe that is where the truth is.
Yeah, thank you, Sicho. Very nicely put. Look, there are serious issues of integrity here that are being spoken about. And, we must address... Look, there is nothing more important than the integrity of the Ghana Boxing Authority. That is the most critical... It's the heartbeat of all of this. Because even the allegations of bout fixing speak to the incident itself. Because, in fact, he's trying to say that the bout fixing crowd, we are so bad, we couldn't fix the bout well. We fluffed the fixing. And that's how come the boxer had to now fight on a different day. Because per his allegation, if the fixing crowd had happened on the day,
he would have fought on it, right?
Thank you. He would have fought on the same day. You understand? It's a serious matter, but it's also funny. At the same time, but we cannot we cannot dismiss issues of integrity and say that, oh, we are managing the situation, and that finding out why the person died is more important than things that impugn the integrity of a whole association. We must get to the bottom of this. We must investigate and punish anybody that's been found culpable, because these are serious allegations. And as Sedu said, it could also speak to something that has been happening. And that is only coming out now because there's been a tragic loss of life involved. Either way, we need to know the truth. So whatever approach we have to dealing with this matter, it must be holistic, and the measures must be punitive enough when eventually it happens. And the issue of the medical doctors and ringside physicians that generated a heated argument between Nat and Amin Lamte is a really simple matter. Because in Amin Lamte's submission, he mentions paramedic. Nat says there were no physicians, but physicians were required to be there. Amin Lamte says they were there. Who were they? The matter turns some way.
Just mention the names.
Mention the names.
You say you were there. So if you were there, mention the names. It's as
you
simple
know,
as that.
so Mr. Amin Lamte.
No, it's okay. It's okay to know that they were there, and it's okay not to necessarily have the names. On your lips.
No, but when you listen, were you convinced that they were there?
You need to give us a report
paramedics
that
are
confirms
very
so and so was there. It's fine.
Anyway, let me tell you guys about, before we get into the De Bruyne conversation, your messages are welcome. 055-1111-997. I know all of you are itching to say a lot about the issue that we've just dealt with. We'll open the phone line the last 10 minutes, but the guys will have a lot to say on this De Bruyne and the greatest midfielder in the Premier League conversation. But the show is proudly brought to you by Betway and Petrosol. Let me tell you about the Betway Bet Saver. You've all been there, all of you, okay? Where you place a bet, a perfect multi-bet, and it's all going well, and then one foolish team decides to mess it all up. Don't worry. With the Betway Bet Saver feature, you can win even if one of the teams messes up your bet. Even on multiple losses, you can still get back your money and so much more. The Bet Saver is only exclusive to Betway. The Betway gets way more. You can go to the Betway website, betway.com.gh, and you can find out for yourself how that particular one works perfectly for you. Also, Petrosol, of course, Petrosol is also providing you quality fuel, helping you save money on your engine maintenance and what have you. So do drive to the next Petrosol fuel station for your accurate quality quantity of fuel. Petrosol, it's always a delightful experience. There's also the April Bonanza from Petrosol, of course. This month is bringing more excitement news. It's the month of big wins for the Petrosol Energizing Dreams promo. So mark your calendars for the last thrilling draws in April. The last monthly draw is on April 10 at the Petrosol Palugu service station along the Bolga-Tamale Road in the Upper East region. The second draw, the Northern Sector Grand Finale, is on April 16 at the Petrosol Bamahuwa service station in the Upper West region. And then the Southern Sector Grand Finale draw is on April 29, 2025 at the Petrosol Spintex service station, Greater Accra. You could be driving home the brand new Suzuki Espresso this April. So stay updated on our social media handles and get ready for the ultimate climax. Petrosol's Energizing Dreams promo. Terms and conditions apply. Petrosol Energizing Dreams. So you can still drive to the next Petrosol station, of course, and partake. Just buy fuel and then you'll be entered into the draw. You could win a car. You never know. Anything is really possible. Life Boy. You know Life Boy, right? The soap. Amazing stuff. You know that soothing feeling that you feel deep in your skin and all over your body when you shower with a soap that truly protects you. That peace of mind, that clean, that hygienic and protective feeling that allows you to go out and face the world without fear of any germs that cause skin cancers. That is Lifebuoy Carbolic. The Lifebuoy Carbolic, popularly known as Guardian soap, is that soap that has protected you and your family for years. And today, Lifebuoy Carbolic wants to hear from you and reward you. Maybe after a while, you moved on because levels don't change. We know Bokrao. We know that one does it better than Lifebuoy Carbolic. Okay? No one does it better than the live boy Carbolic. So we did for you. Today, we're going back down memory lane. Some lucky callers will have the opportunity to answer a few questions and take home some lovely prizes. So pick up your phone when the lines open and let's get interactive. And remember to always stay protected with live boy. There's also the Volta Serene Dodi World Getaway that is still happening as well. So let me remind you, every Saturday we are celebrating World Water Day in unique style, and we learn how to preserve water in your little corner. And that is the Volta Hotel on Dodi World Akosombo, who are offering you fantastic vacation destinations for everything. At the Dodi World, we have curated an exclusive lineup of festive program and packages for you and your loved ones. You can make the Easter holiday a memorable one, as the MV Dodi Princess 2 will cruise you and your loved one every day from Good Friday all the way, of course, from Good Friday all the way to Easter Monday with the after party at the Adwa Night Club. Okay, so do that and then it will be amazing. So Volta Hotel and Dodi World invites all corporate institutions, families and individuals this Easter holidays to experience the warmth of Easter like never before. So get in touch with us for bookings and enquiries. You can make your reservation now for your hotel accommodation on the following phone numbers: 0544 357703 or 055 817 6200, or just email us sales@voltahotel.com.gh and then enjoy. Let me also remind you of this. Are you ready to dream, dare, and deliver in the world of IT? Look no further than the Jackson Institute of Technology, the only NIIT authorized training center in Ghana. At JIT, we provide world-class IT training for individuals and corporate institutions, equipping you with industry-relevant skills in software development, cybersecurity, networking, cloud computing, artificial intelligence, digital marketing, and so much more. We are located at the Ring Road near Circle in the heart of Accra Central Business District. And in Kumasi, the Jackson Educational Complex headquarters is at AUDSA near KUST. JIT provides easy access for students and corporate clients. Our state-of-the-art auditorium is also available for corporate events, seminars, and training sessions. You can call us or send us a WhatsApp message on 0596 996037 or visit our website jit.edu.gh. Okay, this is Game Plan on 99.7 Joy FM, also on Hits 103.9 FM. We have about 70 more minutes to hit 3 p.m. inside the studio here at Kokomlemle 355 Hanover Street. And we're turning the conversation around now with my guest, Daniel and Sicho. We've left the thing for the two of you. Is Kevin De Bruyne. Well, Kevin De Bruyne has announced that he's leaving Manchester City at the end of this season. He's won it all. He's won the Champions League. He's won multiple league titles, 5 league titles, if I'm not mistaken. FA Cup, League Cups. He's won every single thing. Okay, so then, is he the greatest Premier League midfielder of all time? Danny K, Sichu, what is the short answer and what's the long answer? Sichu, what is the short answer? Yes or no?
Oh, I've not heard Danny K's voice today, so Danny, let me hear your voice.
Sue.
See? That's an interesting one.
Sue.
What do you okay, so you know what? Let's get on with it then. Sicho, let me bring you in first. Where do you stand on the Kevin De Bruyne debate? Because this guy came to the Premier League in 2016. He's bossed it pretty much the time that he's been there. I think there's no debate that he's been the best midfielder since he walked into the Premier League. But his time in the Premier League, all that time he spent at Man City, everything he's won, is that enough to make him the greatest Premier League midfielder of all time? Talent-wise, achievement-wise, everything.
I think he puts him right up there with some of the best we've ever seen in the Premier League. I'm not quite sure I'll say he's the greatest Premier League midfielder of all time, but he'll be right up there. I mean, if you're asking me to choose my number one, I'm not sure Kevin De Bruyne would be. But whoever I'm going to pick, I mean, it's still going to be like Kevin De Bruyne is as good, or Kevin De Bruyne has ability-wise can match the person, and of course, achievement-wise can match the person or even better. So it's a difficult thing. It all comes down to, again, preference in how people perceive the game and how people perceive midfielders and what people expect from their midfielders. And I think Kevin De Bruyne is one of the best we've ever seen in the Premier League. I won't straight away say that he is the all-time greatest Premier League midfielder of that we've seen. That for me would be a yard of a stretch. But look, he's right up there with whoever you think is the greatest of all time in the Premier League in terms of midfielders.
Okay. I mean, DK, what about you?
Yeah, look, you don't have the influence he's had and to not be considered as the greatest. I think it's a very valid debate to have. 6 Premier League titles is his assist number. I think he's the fewest, the Premier League player who's played the fewest games to reach 100 assists or so. And you are talking about some of the best creative midfielders who have ever graced the Premier League in the Fabregas, the likes of Fabregas, Lampard, Gerrard, the big boys. So that's a big deal. And again, 6 Premier League titles, 4 in a row, and he played a huge part in that. He's won Player of the Season a couple of times also. So it makes sense for the debate. But when it comes to debate, obviously, football is very subjective, and when it comes to team sports also, very, very subjective. So personally, he's not my greatest of all time, but I think it's a very valid debate to have. I think he's done enough during his 10 years also in the Premier League to be considered as one of the best. I'll put him in the top 5, but definitely not my number 1.
Top 5. Who would be your number 1?
My number 1 is Steven Gerrard.
Steven Gerrard.
Yeah.
Really? For someone who never won it?
Yeah.
That's a joke, isn't it?
No, it's not.
Steven Gerrard is my number 1.
How to
Look,
win.
you again, it's a very subjective sport, and it will be very unfair if you are talking about the greatest in the Premier League. The Premier League is not just about the teams that have won it. There are 20 teams that compete for the title every season. There are certain teams that are set up and built to win titles. There are certain teams that are set up not to win titles. And the fact that you find yourself in a team that is not set up to win a title doesn't mean that you are inferior to a player in a similar
Messi
position.
have been considered the greatest player of all time. He played for Aston Villa.
I'm saying
and
that
didn't win the league, and it's not his fault. What are you saying?
it is very unfair for you to say that a player who is in a team that is not built to win a title is inferior to another player who plays in a similar position who is in a team to win a title. It's unfair.
I'm saying that the world is unfair, but greatness is defined also by achievement.
Yes, I'm saying that
you can't just throw that away.
And you can't also just say the fact that somebody hasn't won means that he can't be in that conversation. That you don't.
No, he can be in the conversation, but he can't be the greatest.
No, he can't be.
He can't.
He can't be.
Not in my books.
That's why I'm speaking for myself. I'm not speaking for.
Not in any reasonable person's book.
No, you can say that. Wait. Let me ask you a question.
Would you ever call somebody?
Would you consider? Let me land. You've asked me a question, so I have to build a point before you can ask questions.
Then
you can't be cutting me.
Question.
I'm not asking you. I'm asking you a question based on what you said.
Okay.
Can you consider Harry Kane as one of the greatest forwards in the Premier League?
You said one off. If you call me, say the greatest. I didn't say.
The job of a striker is to score goals.
Yes,
so that one you can go basically. You can just look at the numbers.
Yes.
You can look at Alan Shearer and say he's the greatest goal scorer in the history of the greatest. But he won just one. The likes of Henry and Co won more than him. But you can't necessarily bring that and throw away the fact that.
But that is a striker. They score goals.
So
if the greatest striker of all time in the Premier League is the highest goal scorer, I don't have a question about that. I don't have comments about that.
Wait, okay, so now
what is the
job of a midfielder in your books?
Sorry?
What's the job of a midfielder in your books that you think that what Gerrard did throughout his career in the Premier League should not be
What exactly did he do? He wasn't and isn't the highest scoring midfielder. He wasn't and isn't the highest assist maker in the Premier League. He isn't the midfielder who's won the most. What exactly did Gerrard do in the Premier League that other players in his position didn't do? What did he do better than the others in the conversation?
Look, again,
like De Bruyne or Lampard?
You can't just make a simplistic argument.
It's not simplistic.
And throw it on goals.
You can't
and
say
assets.
yes,
Can you hear me?
Yes, Sicho, yes.
Friends, I want to ask you a question.
Okay, ask
Have
me.
you ever seen a player, right, who is considered world class in almost every single season he played in, even though he wasn't winning the title? Like Steven Gerrard was world class at Liverpool and in the Premier League, even though we knew they were not going to win it. That is how good he was. I don't think when I'm comparing who the greatest midfielder is in the Premier League, I'm straight away going to say because Gerrard didn't win it, it puts him out. No way. Because even though he wasn't winning it, he was as good as those who were winning it. And he didn't have any season that he looked like. It's like this current Chelsea team. There isn't one world-class player in the Chelsea team. All of them are, and they are not winning. If you take a team like Man United, we've seen what Bruno Fernandes is doing in Man United, and he's like their best player. Is he world-class? I don't think so. I think it's great, but I think it's good, but is he world-class? No. But if you look at Steven Gerrard in that Liverpool team, he wasn't scoring the goals Bruno Fernandes is scoring now, or maybe the assist Bruno Fernandes is giving now. But in every single season, he was as good as he was there. And did it consistently throughout the seasons at Liverpool. The only player that I think shades Steven Gerrard a little bit when it comes to my greatest midfielder in the history of the Premier League, it's got to be maybe Paul Scholes. But I'm putting Steven Gerrard right up there alongside the likes of Frank Lampard. And I'm not going to say because he never won it, he wasn't as good as Frank Lampard. It wasn't as good as Steven Gerrard. No way. As good as Paul Scholes. Steven Gerrard was that good. He was that good.
You see, I have not. So let's not mix the issues. Okay, I understand the point you're making, and I agree with you 100%. Steven Gerrard was a world-class player. That is not debatable. Okay, I'm saying he is not the greatest midfielder of all time in the Premier League.
Who is the greatest midfielder of all time?
That is Frank Lampard. It's not even debatable. But let's move on to.
Is Frank Lampard? Why is Frank Lampard better? Has Frank Lampard won more Premier League titles than Paul Scholes? Has he defined more games than Paul Scholes?
Actually, yes.
So
because you cannot score. Hold on, you cannot be the highest scoring midfielder in the Premier League without deciding more goals. He's not scoring the fourth goal in a 4-0 victory. No. He's not scoring the fourth goal in a 4-0 victory. He's scoring match winners. From Paul Scholes. Hold on. In the period Paul Scholes played in his entire Premier League career, not one season was he named Player of the Season. Not once. You see, to be considered the greatest of all time, for me, even as a midfielder, if a midfielder can win Player of the Season, to outperform every defender, outperform every striker, and be named Player of the Season multiple times, that is no. And there's another midfielder performing in the same period. And not once in that period did that other midfielder outperform him. How can you then turn around and tell me that he was?
No, Fence. Your timelines are wrong. People make a mistake. People think that Paul Scholes' peak was when Frank Lampard was speaking between 2007 and 2008. No. Paul Scholes' peak was in the late 90s into around 2004, 2005. In 2007, 2008, 2009, Scholes was almost on his last legs. Even went on retirement and came back. That was when Lampard was speaking. Don't give me the same timeline.
But Frank Lampard's peak is not 2007. Frank Lampard's peak is not true. You see, don't get the timelines mixed up. We all know Frank Lampard finished the second best player in the world in the year 2006.
Yes.
So you can't even tell me that his peak was 08, 07, 08. No. Way before that.
I said from 04. I said from first peak was from 04, 05. Coming was in the late 90s into
Okay, fair enough. Take your own, let me take my own. Look, I'm going to open the phone lines.
But the point is, you see, the point is when you also talk about greatness, okay, it is one man, and especially in a team sport, the ability of one man to make a team look good. That was Gerrard. Take Gerrard out of that Liverpool equation, and Liverpool will be bang average. There's a reason why Mourinho.
What story is a joke?
I always say this. There's a reason why Mourinho had Lampard and still wanted Gerrard. There's a reason why Zidane spoke about Gerrard in the way he spoke about Gerrard. You are not necessarily winning a title. You are not necessarily winning titles or competing for titles. But season after season, your name is mentioned amongst the best in the league. Not best midfielders, who best in the league. Season after season. Right. In a team that is not competing for the title.
Granting.
That is greatness.
Let me take one or two phone calls and read some messages. 055 1111 997 and 0302 216 541. 0302 216 541. And then we'll wrap it up. Listen, let me see the WhatsApp and then read a couple of messages as well on WhatsApp. Quite a number of you. Fan, did Alan Shearer goes win a trophy for Newcastle? He didn't only score for Newcastle, okay? He won the Premier League title. Hold on, let me go to the phone line first. Okay, all right. Hello, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, Abu Mohammed is my name and I'm calling from Japan.
Abu Mohammed, briefly, go ahead.
But me, I'm surprised all of you mention all these guys and you never mention Michael Essien. Me, in my opinion, all these guys mentioned are better. Okay. I don't know too much about football, but in my opinion, Michael Essien is better than all these guys.
All right, thank
Michael
you very much.
Essien has never been flopped. In a game, you never see Michael Essien flopping before.
Okay, Abu Francis.
So in my opinion, Michael Essien is better than all of the guys you are.
All right, fantastic, fantastic. Sorry. Okay. Fen, okay, I've read that message. This one says, good afternoon, guys. Another great show. My question is, what are the duties of the GBA in making sure both boxers are in good health? Ajiman and Joseph in Community 9 Tema. Ajingo man sent us that particular message. This one says, okay, where are they? All right, this one says, Fen, you cannot say Frank Lampard is the best midfielder per your logic. Then De Bruyne is the best midfielder per your logic. Citizen Sika. De Bruyne has never top scored in the single season. The highest goal scoring midfielder in the history of the Premier League is Frank Lampard. Can De Bruyne rub his shoulders with that? Good afternoon. Your name and where you are calling from?
Yeah, I'm Frank.
Francis,
I'm calling from Spain.
Yeah, Francis is your last caller.
Charlie, I'm a Spanish fan and I support Madrid, but I don't think there's anybody in the history of the Premier League better than Gerrard. I followed him from 98 thereabout. He's the greatest.
Okay, thank you very much. That's our last caller. DK, hold on for me. It's an interesting conversation. Nonetheless, I appreciate all of you for contributing. DK, what's up? You've got some shouts.
Yeah, very, very important shout. Monday is the birthday of little Christopher Deladem Kofi Nyakosa.
Okay.
He's the son of a very good friend, Yao Chris, of the Ghana Fire Service. Yes, okay. He's turning 2. Yes, he's turning 2 on Monday. So happy birthday to our little boy.
All right. I've got another message here that says the notion that Gerrard played in a bad team sometimes is funny. Check the Liverpool squad between 04 and 7. And their midfield compared to that of Chelsea and United, when that he simply led his team to glory, like what Lampard did at Chelsea. Top club midfielders were signed in that team. He still bossed that team. Sakatu in London. Big happy birthday to the love of my life, my CEO, Papa, and the fairest amongst them all. You have brought true meaning to my life, and I celebrate you on your special day. Enjoy your day, and I love you, babes. Mrs. Mary Jemfua Yamwa. This is from your husband, Benjamin Yamwa, aka Benghazi, and the kids, Ohene Asante and Urama. Interesting one.
I love it.
I love it. Yeah. And the last one, big happy birthday to my chef, personal chef. Okay, Chef WO1 Munjamu Mohammed from 48th Engineer Regiment, Teshikam.
Quick.
Very happy birthday to you. That's it for today's episode of Game Plan.
So what's behind the scene?
Volta Hotel and Dodi World Akosombo as well. This weekend we are going there to chill. We are going there to chill, okay? We are going there to chill. Thank you so much. Thank you to Betway and Petrosol for sponsoring this show. My name is Fentio Tahiru Fentio. We're back again next Friday. Until then, do take care and bye-bye. Up next is the BBC World Service.
The licensing, it can be very cost prohibitive.